What is going on, everybody? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to another video, and if you are new here, my name is Val and welcome to my channel. So many of you may or may not have heard about the remake of The Color Purple, which dropped in theaters today actually. And I came across this video of Taraji P. Henson, who's in this movie, by the way. And in this video, she's describing some of the things that actors do in order to really get in character and play some of these roles, right? And what she's describing is witchcraft. They never say verbatim that it is, but when you listen to her speak about some of the rituals that they do in order to really tap into character, what she's describing is witchcraft, all right? So without further ado, I'm just going to play the video and then we're going to come back and talk about it some more.
Playing these characters, because it's very spiritual what we do as actors. You're on the set, you have your chakras all open, you're allowing this character to use your body as a vessel. And so you have to learn how to flip the switch on and flip it off. Otherwise, it could drive you mad.
You know, she's right. And I've heard other actors say the same thing. I've heard Jim Carrey say it, Denzel Washington, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita said the same thing. And what they're doing is pretty much channeling the spirit of these characters, right? And like she said, you're opening up yourself and allowing this spirit to consume you and use it as a vessel in order for you to really tap into that character and play that role, right? So they're playing a very dangerous game. I've heard Denzel Washington say that he had to channel the spirit of Malcolm X when he played that role. Michael B. Jordan said he had to go to therapy because he was dealing with a lot of anxiety after he played the Killmonger role in Black Panther because he couldn't tap out of that character, right? Lupita said she had to go on a retreat to pretty much come back to normal after she played a certain role, right? And I think it was the role that she played in the movie Us by Jordan Peele. But yeah, like you said, it can be very hard for you to tap out of that, right? You're allowing the spirit to use you. So what if that spirit decides to just stay inside of you and not want to leave, right? And when you think about it, they're filming for months, sometimes even years, right? So when you're on set, you got to tap in. When you're off set, you got to tap out and become yourself again. And you got to constantly do this, right? Multiple times a week for months or even years, you got to constantly tap into this character or this spirit. So that can be very hard for you to tap out of when you're done filming, right? This is why Michael B. Jordan had to go to therapy because he couldn't tap out. It was just, the spirit was just still in him.
Because it's spiritual what we do, you understand? Yeah. We allow these characters and these stories to use our bodies as a vessel. That is a real, like if you think about it, that's you allowing this other energy.
Project. I let the character speak to me. What we do as actors is very spiritual. You're on set, and that's why I don't pick a lot of roles because it's spiritual and I'm all alive and I'm open and my chakras are open and I'm letting this character use my body as a vessel to tell its truth. And so when I'm open like that, a lot of energies can't be around me. I'm sorry. Because energy is strong, y'all. And you gotta be protected.
Do y'all see how Oprah is looking at her like, don't you dare say too much. Don't give too much information out, right? I never understood the infatuation with Oprah. Like I never understood why people were just so in love with her. I'm not a big fan of hers. I never was. I never understood the infatuation with Oprah Winfrey. I never understood that. Like, yes, she's a black woman who's a billionaire in the industry, but we know that doesn't happen, especially in the industry, unless you sold out and did some things, right? And if you know, you know. If you know, right? If you know, you know. There's some things about Oprah, but I never understood the infatuation with her. And not to mention, she said some very disrespectful stuff about the Bible. So I'm going to leave it at that.
I'm sorry. Because energy is strong, y'all. And you got to be particular about who you keep around you. Like, seriously. If they down and they cloudy and they downtrodden and if they got a cloud around you hanging around, you think you're not going to get wet? You got to be very careful. So I'm very particular about the projects that I take on because that's spirit. You understand? But at the end of the day, for me, it was a lot of ancestry work.
blood work is what I call it, when you really have to lean on them. And there were times where, you know, the surrendering is so deep that I felt like I just had to truly listen to the ancestors and all of their cries and their woes and everything that they've been through so that I could honor that. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it.
Again, they're never going to say verbatim that it's witchcraft, right? They're talking about blood work and tapping into your ancestors and opening up your chakras, right? All of that is just witchcraft. And that's what it is. They're channeling the spirit of these characters and allowing these spirits to consume them, right? This reminds me of Heath Ledger, who played the Joker. If you ever seen that movie, you know he nailed that role, right? But you got to understand, there was a spirit using him, right? He said that he had locked himself in a hotel room for about a month, experimenting with different voices and characterizations in order to really tap into that character, right? So a character such as the Joker, which is, you know, a dark character, a sociopath, a psychopath, you got to really tap into a really dark place and allow dark spirits to use you and consume you in order to really tap into that character and play that role, right? So you know what happened to him after he played that role, right? Like, it can be very hard for you to tap out, like Taraji P. Henson said. A role such like the Joker, it can really be hard for you to remove that spirit out of you. This is what some of your favorite actors and singers do. You know, they practice witchcraft, they do rituals in order for them to perform. So I hate to break it to you, but some of your favorites are not really that talented. A lot of them are just doing rituals in order for them to perform well, in order for them to really get in character, in order for them to get on stage. Why do you think some of these singers and even rappers have alter egos, right? It's not an alter ego. It's a spirit that they're using. It's a spirit that they're tapping into. Beyonce said it herself out of her own mouth, right? That she allows a spirit to consume her before she gets on stage. And ironically, when she said this, she was talking to Oprah. She was on the Oprah Winfrey Show, right? So not surprised. But when she said this, she was talking to Oprah. She had an interview with Oprah and she was explaining, you can look it up. She was explaining how Sasha Fierce is her so-called alter ego, right? It's just a demon. That's what it is, right? She said she's a naturally quiet and reserved person. And if she doesn't tap into that so-called alter ego, aka spirit demon, right? If she doesn't tap into that, she's unable to perform on stage. So when you see that person on stage, that's a demon using her. So out of their own mouth, they confess exactly what it is that they do, right? So don't get mad at me. They tell you what they do, right? And some people still choose to ignore it. A lot of the things that they're explaining is very true. They're not hiding it. They're telling you about it. Fantasia posted this picture recently, and right off the bat, you can see that she's doing the one eye symbol or the one eye pose, which is very common in the industry, right? And that lets you know that, you know, they're standing on a certain side and that they sold out, right? That's their way of letting you know who they belong to, okay? So I'm not really surprised, you know, she sold out. So, you know, they make their choice. They make their choice and they're letting you know. All right, but let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video.